Narzą, dawcy piscine. Cry for what, cry for stuff, dawcy piscine.
Here, kids, it's time for a bedtime story.
Yay!
Yay!
Can we read Green Eggs and Ham?
No, you chose last time. I want to read Twilight.
Green Eggs and Ham!
Twilight, kids. I'm choosing the story today. If you guys don't smarten up, there won't be a story at all. Today's story is about
Sam I Am!
No. Edward and Bella?
No! It's about swimming. All about swimming.
That's boring, Grandma.
Do you want me to tell your mother about your behavior?
You're gonna get in trouble.
You too. Now, where were we? Ah, here we are. The Swimmer by John Cheaver. It begins on a hot summer day, the sort of day where people sit around saying, I drank too much last night, girls. Nettie Merrill and his wife Lucinda were visiting their friends, the Windsor Hazies. Hope we're not drunk when I open this. What's up?
More.
Oh, I drank too much.
We all drank too much. Nettie was not altogether a young man, but he was full of energy, the sort of man who slides down the banister every morning and never used a ladder to get out of the swimming pool. On that day, Nettie Merrill had an idea. Wait.
Oops.
Nettie, where are you going?
I'm swimming home.
Nettie, what are you talking about? We've all had too much to drink with Lucinda, but I think your husband has had a little bit too much than the rest of us.
Nettie, why don't you come back and sit down?
No, I'm gonna swim across the county on the Lucinda River.
He's lost it.
What?
The backyard swimming pools. I'm gonna swim across every one of them with a few portages. I'll get home.
No, that's 8 miles.
Which is why I ought to get started. I'll see you at home, Lucinda.
As Nettie started out, he felt a sense of adventure, as though he were an explorer. He had mapped out all the swimming pools in the country in his mind and named them the Lucinda River after his wife.
Oh, well, hello, Nettie. Would you like a drink?
No time, I'm swimming home.
Ned? Ned, what are you doing? Nettie? Would you like some help? You gotta get out of the pool, Ned. Yes. Ned, where are you going, Nettie? Have a drink.
Nettie continued down the Lucinda River, through the Hammers, Lears, Howlands, and Crosscup backyards. Miss Hammers was tending to her roses and saw Nettie swimming by. Although she couldn't tell who it was, the Lears heard him splashing through their window. The Crosscups and Howlands were away, as he crossed the street toward the Howlands, heading to the bunkers where he could hear a party. Well, look who it is, Nettie Merrill. What a
Nettie
lovely
Merrill.
surprise.
Yeah.
Nettie!
Would you like a drink?
Yeah.
Take it.
Lucinda said you couldn't make it. I almost died. Come on, have a drink, have a drink.
Here, I'll please.
If we're not drunk, we have to open that thing.
That's it?
It's very concentrated.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah, you take that. Let me take off my shoes.
What are you doing? You don't drown.
Nettie?
I don't have insurance.
No, he's too. He's very
So weird.
He's really.
Did you hear what he's having up there?
As Nettie left the bunker's party, the voices faded away. He had made his... Oh, there's a bug. He had made his way across the road to the Levi's home, where he had a big private property sign out front.
Hello?
was nobody home. Nettie swam to the banks of the Lucinda River when he helped himself to drink from a bottle of the poolside table. He was feeling a little tired, but in all, was quite pleased with himself so far.
I'm so awesome. Just go for a little swim, you know? It's a nice day.
Nettie realized that it was going to storm soon. He found himself wondering what time it had gone to. 3, 4, as the storm came, Nettie took shelter in the Levi's gazebo. He shivered in the cold, wet wind, a wind which stripped the trees of their golden and scarlet leaves.
The trees must have blight. It's far too early for them to be changing leaves this early in the summer.
Nettie passed through the Lindy's riding pen on the way to the Welch's, and was surprised to find growing in it the trumpet's mantle.
Could you be quiet over there? We're trying to read a story.
Shut it!
Ignorant teenagers, I tell you. He wondered if they had sold their horses or were boarding them somewhere elsewhere. He had a vague recollection of hearing something about the Lindy's horses, but couldn't seem to put his finger on it. He crossed the ring and headed toward the Welch's.
Oh boy, the pool's dry. For sale sign, didn't they just invite us over for dinner last week?
Nettie began to worry that his memory was failing him. Nonetheless, he reminded himself that this was the day he, Nettie Merrill, would swim across the county. Nettie stood at the side of the highway, waiting to cross, barefoot and shivering. He had known the road would be difficult to cross, but standing there, on the edge, he found himself completely unprepared. Passing cars laughed at him, jeered. There was even a beer can thrown at him. He could have just gone back to the Westerhazy's, and surely Linda hadn't left yet. But he couldn't bring himself to turn back. This journey seemed to have become more or less serious to him now than when he had begun it. After almost 20 minutes, he made it across safely, and from the other side of the highway, had to walk only a short distance to the recreation center.
It smells horrible.
Nettie reminded himself to behave like an explorer, and that this was only simply a stagnant bend in the Lucinda River. He dove in and was joisted around by the other swimmers.
Ow! Play with us. That's him. Get him out of here.
Don't splash
Hey,
me.
you! Without the identification disc, out of the water!
Smells fun.
Next on his journey was the Hollerins. They were the wealthy elderly couple who seemed to bask in the suspicion that there may be communists. Nettie called to warn the Hollerins he was coming. He didn't want to startle them because he knew they swam naked.
Ew!
I'm swimming cross country.
I didn't know one could.
I've come from Waterhazy's about 4 miles.
Okay.
Wow, is this small?
We're terribly sorry to hear about all your misfortunes, Nettie.
Misfortunes? I don't know what you mean.
We've heard that you sold your house and that you poor children.
I don't recall selling the house, and the girls are at home.
Yes, of course, they are.
Well, thank you for the swim.
Well, have a nice trip, then.
Nettie was confused as to what the Hollerins were talking about. He had definitely not sold his house. He was feeling cold and tired. Leaves fell around him, and he thought he could smell wood smoke.
Who would burn wood this time of year?
What Ned really wanted was a drink. Some whiskey to warm himself up. He crossed the Hollerins' lawn to their daughter, Helen, and her husband, Eric's house. The Sashes were friends of his.
Oh, Nettie, did you lunch at Mother's?
Not really. I did stop to see them, though. I'm sorry to bother you, but could you spare me a drink?
Oh, Ned, you know I would, but we haven't had anything to drink here since Eric's operation 3 years ago.
Oh. Yes, of course.
Ned could not remember hearing anything about the friends being ill. How could he forget something like that? Though, he must have been losing his memory. Sure enough, there were pale scars on Eric's abdomen, some at least a foot long, to his navel was gone.
You could try Biswangers. They're having a party. They should have some drinks over there.
Mind if I take a dip first?
Not at all.
You're almost drowning.
The Sash's pool was cold, and Nettie gasped, almost drowning as he made it across. Nettie then crossed a couple of fields to the Biswangers. The couple had often invited Lucinda and them to dinner, but they always declined. The Biswangers were a much lower place in society and were not the sort that the Merlins associated with. They were sure to give him a drink.
Well, this party has everything, including a gate crasher.
As a gate crasher, do I rate a drink?
Do what you want. You clearly don't pay much attention to invitations. He went broke overnight. Nothing but income. Shows up drunk one Sunday and asks for $5,000.
Can I get a whiskey on the rocks, please?
I guess.
Nettie only had 3 pools left. The first of the 3 belonged to Shirley Adams. They had had an affair together months, weeks, years ago. He couldn't remember now.
What's an affair?
You'll find out when you're older.
What do you want?
I'm swimming across the county.
Good Christ, will you ever grow up?
What's the matter?
If you've come here for money, I won't give another cent.
You could offer me a drink.
I could, but I won't. I'm not alone.
I'll just be on my way then.
Once Ned had reached the other side of Shirley's pool, he realized that he no longer had the strength to pull himself up onto the curb and had to use the ladder to get himself out. He could smell marigolds and chrysanthemums on the night air and looked up to see the stars had come out. But instead of the midsummer constellation, he saw Andromeda, Cephas, and Cassiopeia. He was cold, miserable, tired, and bewildered. For the first time in his adult life, he cried. At the Jill Martin's pool, he didn't dive in. Instead, taking the steps down to the icy water.
It's cold.
In the Clyde's pool, he had to stop again and again to rest until finally he climbed up the ladder, finishing the final leg of the Lucinda River. He was so exhausted he didn't even feel triumph at any completed his journey. All he wanted by now was to go home. Finally, he came to his own driveway. The lights were out. Had the girls gone to bed? Perhaps Lucinda had stayed at the Westerhazys for dinner and the girls had joined them.
Hello? Girls? Lucinda?
Nettie looked in the window and realized